I sure hope you enjoyed the story, The Color Monster, expressing lots of different monsters that have different feelings and are experiencing that through not only their facial expressions, but also the color that their bodies are. So I thought we could use this book as inspiration as we get started creating our own color monster. Before we do, let's take a look at some other artists that use color to show the way they feel. Have you ever heard of the artist Pablo Picasso? He is one of the world's most famous artists. He did all of these paintings called the Blue Period because he was going through a depression. He had a lot of bad things happening to him during this time, and a lot of his paintings represented the way he felt. Contrast that with some of the pictures you see only soon after those blue paintings. The Rose Period shows much more happy colors, more playful characters, and just having a few more lighter tints and hues. Let's use that as our inspiration as we get started working on our own color monster. Let's go ahead and get started on our drawing. You'll notice your sheet of paper has two triangles, and I just created a nice big zigzag. Now, using my finger, I tried to make the body as big as I could with the rest of the paper that I had left remaining. I saved enough room for the feet at the bottom, and then I added on some zigzag lines for the hands for the side. Consider your eyes and your eyebrows. I went ahead and I added a nice big zigzag squishy line for its eyebrows. And then consider some of the designs you want to do for the eyes. Mine are open with a wavy line, and as I started looking at these lines and the face, I thought to myself, this looks very silly. So I created I am feeling silly. After you're done drawing, let's take a marker and go over our pencil lines in black. Now we can see what it is that we drew in pencil a whole lot easier. Once you're finished with your drawing and designing, decide which color you think would represent the way that you feel. When you think back to the Color Monster book, what kinds of an expression did you have? What kinds of color will match the way that you're trying to express? With a silly expression, I thought that kind of makes me feel lighthearted and bright. So I went ahead and I grabbed some yellow as my first color choice. You'll notice that I started coloring the entire thing except for the eyes and the teeth with yellow. And because yellow's so light, I went to its analogous color to give it more form, to make it look 3D, to give it a little bit of texture. Notice I'm not coloring over the entire color monster. I'm focusing only on the edges. This makes my monster look a little bit more 3D. Lastly, I went ahead and I grabbed more of a orangish red color. You can see how this makes that color really pop. It makes the monster look so much more 3D. Following along the black Sharpie line, I'm going to use that darker reddish orangish color to make my project look more round and more 3D. I just love the way this looks. If you want to continue using some of your crayons to make your eyes stand out, or perhaps add a little bit of texture onto your color monster, I also used my crayons to provide some texture, making them look a little bit fuzzier and furrier. There, that looks really good. I like it. I also had a little bit of art time left, so I thought for my background, what kind of design could I use to express my feelings? So because it's silly and lighthearted, I thought to myself, maybe some bubbles or some circles that are floating in the air. I didn't think you could see it real well, so I'm starting to develop a few more analogous colors so that you can start to see those circles a little bit better. Finally, I'm going to also grab some color and add a little bit more color into the background so that the background is not all white. The more color you add onto your project, the more finished, the more colorful, the more exciting it is to look at. By the time that you're done, let's see if you can try that too. See if you can get to a point where you have little to no white by the time that you're finished. Coloring with light layers, and you can always go darker. So let's start off light with adding any visual textures and designs into your background. I hope you had fun creating this project. I know I sure did. It was a lot of fun, and I hope that this was a fun way to express feelings in artwork. There, I went ahead and I used a marker to outline Silly. This one looks very tired with some clouds in the background and some zigzag lines to make me feel excited. I hope you have fun.